Here's a quick tutorial showing you how to use batch and a special mode to export all of the objects in a given scene as blend files. So first what you want to do is let's go into preferences and we'll go into batch. And we need to make sure to go down here and say enable blend export secret mode. You need to turn that on. That's an experimental mode. The reason why it's experimental is because it doesn't work for every possible object. There's certainly things that KitOps won't export correctly, but we need to turn that on. So once we turn that on and then say the preferences, we can go back in here to batch. And once we've got batch, we've got these three objects in this particular scene. So I'll go to the object area and I'm going to say batch export blend. And when I click on that, it says error, please save current blend file first. This is because it's going to want to know where to place these objects. So I'll go and say file, save as, and I'm going to go to downloads and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this batch test. Okay, then I'll open that up and I'm going to call this untitled blend. That's fine. We'll just leave it there. Now, when I hit this button, let's go ahead and actually just turn on the system console, and I'm going to actually just change the resolution here so we can see what's going on with the system console as we do this as well. Because a lot of times being able to see it, you'll see if you've got any problems going on. So what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll say batch export blend, and it says, okay, we're going to get a couple errors and it's deleting some files, which is fine because we didn't save anything. But even though we have these little errors, don't worry about those right now. Now that we're done, what we can do is let's go into that folder, and here's this batch test right here. And here are these files. This untitled blend one is the one that we're working on now. I'm going to actually delete that because I don't need this. Now this is going to be our KPACK folder called batch test. So let's go back out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and set this back up. And now we want to create thumbnails for these. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to open the render.blend file there, go back into batch. And the first thing we do is we load an insert. So come in here and I'm going to look for that same file we were just in. So batch test, and I'll just grab the first one, and there's the insert. So we load the insert, and once we've loaded the insert, we want to auto camera position and then align the camera to insert. So that's it. So you can see this padding is going to change the difference. If I move this in or out, I can use that to adjust that insert. And that's good. And then we can do a quick test thumb render. It'll give me a little render that says, okay, that's good. And then we just batch render thumbs. And what's going to do now is it's going to create a separate file for each one of those. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to go back in here. Here's let's view this by icon. So you can see that we have, here's the batch test, the text, which tells you what we processed here. And then we have these thumbnails for each one of these. Here are the files, right? So now we have this folder. It's called batch test. It's a KPACK. We need to put it into a master folder. And let's go up one. And I'm going to take this batch test and say, right click, cut it. I'm going to put it in some master folder that I know I'm working with. Let's see. Let's go down to something like KO Freebats. I'm going to stick it in here. So I'm going to right click and say paste. Now it's here. Now go back into Blender, and I can go say file, new, general, don't save. And I'm going to go into KitOps and refresh this, make sure that I'm refreshed, and go into this file that I know we're using, which will be over here, batch test. There it is right there, batch test. And let's see, let's delete all these. And you can see here we have our object. So if I add this insert and G, move it around, and then go and add this insert, G, move it around, you get the idea. So that's basically the workflow for using batch to create inserts from existing objects in a given file. Hope that helps.